Hi, I'm Toni Minard. Welcome. This is chair yoga for power, strength, and flexibility. Today's flow is going to be focused on the hips, strengthening and creating more mobility in them. So the reason we want to strengthen our hips is so that we're nice and stable throughout life, and that will prevent falls and help us to keep our balance. The reason I have a pillow here, I'll explain in a second, but you will need a strap today, or a belt, or a bathrobe tie, a bathrobe belt, a men's tie, whatever works. And go ahead and set that aside. And the reason I have a pillow is just because I wanted to show you that whenever you sit in your chair, if your knees are not in line with your hips, that could actually put a lot of dumping into the spine, and we don't want spinal dumping. So you can remedy this by bringing your feet onto a pillow, or you want it to be nice and firm, or you can even use books. That might be a little bit better, but you want to bring the knees in line with the hips. So you might have the opposite problem where your knees are dropping down below the hips, and in that case you would simply sit on a pillow until you can bring your knees in line with the hips. Now for me, this brings the knees too low. So my chair just happens to be just the right size, so I'm gonna get rid of that pillow. But I wanted to give you that option because getting comfortable is really important. Like I said, it will help protect the spine. So first we're gonna sit back tall, but resting into the chair. And I'm just gonna kind of open my legs up. I can look down and see my toes past my knees, bringing my palms open towards the sky. And then you can either gaze softly at the floor or just close your eyes. And just take a moment to find your breath, just locate it. Any area of the body that you notice the breath, let's just stay focused there for a few moments, just feeling and experiencing the breath. Noticing what your body does with the in breath and the out breath, and how it responds. Now you may have noticed that your breath is already slowing down, simply by drawing your attention to it. Now I want you to bring your attention onto the exhalation. Take your time here with each out breath. Maybe letting it last just a little longer than the in-breath. If this is making you anxious, just go back to your normal breath, in and out. Now notice if your belly and your body and your chest rise up on the in-breath or the out-breath. Just notice here. And now we want to maybe correct this, maybe not, depending on what you notice. About half of us tend to sink down and empty with the in-breath. We want to reverse that. So what we want to do is the next time you breathe in, expand and open the chest. And then when you breathe out, just kind of let that contract and come down. So we're inhaling, filling up. And then we're exhaling, emptying. Inhaling, expanding. Exhaling, contracting. Inhaling, opening up like an umbrella. And exhaling, closing like an umbrella. And then open your eyes and come to the edge of your seat. I want you to line your feet up so that you can see your toes past your knees. You're about hip distance with your feet and sit up nice and tall, but not stiff. And we're not bringing these ribs out, okay? Gently draw your navel back towards your spine. Bring your shoulders back so they're in line with your hips and gently down, palms open. And then press into the feet so that you kind of firm up the leg muscles. And then reach the crown towards the ceiling, chin straight. This is mountain pose. Breathe. Bring your hands to your shoulders or towards your shoulders, and let's make a few round, full circles forward. Breathing and moving at the same time. Kind of matching your movement to your breath. And then we're going to reverse those circles going back. And then we're going to bring our hands out to the side, palms forward. Line up your mountain pose, shoulders over your hips, ears over your shoulders, and then tuck your chin back slightly and down, like a double chin, and start to release your right ear towards your right shoulder. I'm just going to mirror you here. Feel a nice stretch on that left side of your neck. And try to breathe, even though you're going to have that double chin position. Breathe. Coming back into the center, take a breath. Then start to bring that chin back, kind of double chin yourself, and bring that left ear down towards the left shoulder. Try not to let that left shoulder rise up. It's like your shoulder's running away from the ear. These subtle, gentle movements have huge, huge benefits for the body. And coming back into the center, release that breath. And we're going to start to kiss the knees. So let's just go back and forth, kissing the knee. Maybe you reach, maybe you don't, but you're going towards that motion with the neck and the knee towards each other. Inhaling each time, sitting up tall. And then with your exhale, go towards that knee. And just flow here. Take your time on the transition, the in-between pose, just as important as the actual pose. Come back up and shake it out. Shake out those wrists. Gently kick out those knees. Let's get ready for sun salutation. So find your mountain pose. You can see your toes. Lining everything up. Inhale, bringing your hands towards each other if you can. And then exhale, we're gonna fold with a straight back, any amount. So you might fold to your thighs. If you have a pillow, you might fold to the pillow or the floor. Let your neck relax. Press into the feet, especially the toe mound and the heels. It's almost like your arches are lifting. Scoop your belly out and come up. Swan dive back up with a straight back. Hands to heart center. So if you can't come up with that straight back, then just don't fold as deep. Inhaling, arms lift. Exhaling, swan dive down with that straight back, any amount. And then inhale, swan dive back up with that straight back. Now straight back's very important, especially on the way down. I'm gonna give you another option here. We're gonna inhale, arms up. Lift that heart. Exhale, fold it down with a straight back, very important. And you can have the option to round up. So rounding up is safe as long as you don't have osteoporosis. So scoop your belly up and round up. If you do have osteoporosis, keep that back straight. Don't fold as deep. Good. Now we're going to add a little twist here. So we're going to inhale, lifting the arms, lifting the heart. And then we're going to exhale just down to the thighs, maybe your hands, maybe your elbows. And then on your next inhale, we're going to kind of twist it open towards one side. And then when you breathe, you come back in. And then with the exhalation, you twist towards the other side. And breathe it back in. And swan dive up. Hands to heart center. We're going to continue to flow 2 more times with a sun salutation. Be inhale. And fold. and twist, and center. If you have to take an extra breath, do it. And twist, and center, and swan dive up. And heart center. Let's flow one more time. Take a break if you need to. Inhale, arms up, heart lifts. Exhale, fold. Inhale, twist. Exhale, back in the center, and take that other twist. And back in the center, and swan dive up. Hands to heart center. So we're flowing through those continuously to bring that heart rate up. Excuse me. Bring your hands to heart center, close your eyes, or gaze softly out the floor, and just find your breath again. Bring that heart rate back down. Well, let's try those squeezes, those glute squeezes. So squeeze your glutes and kind of lifting up, and then relax. Squeeze and relax. Squeeze and relax. We're going to go for 10 total. So we've got 6 and 5 and 4. That last one we're going to hold, and 3 and 2. And this last one we're going to hold for 3, 2, 1. Release, shake it out. Sit up nice and tall. Find your mountain pose. All right. So we're going to do some chair lifts. We're just going to do 5, and that last one we're going to try to hold. If you can't lift up out of your chair yet, you will. I promise, you're building those muscles up. Continue with the squeezes. You can go ahead and do about 10 more of those squeezes. Or we're going to lift up, but we're not going to let the knees go past the toes. Very important. Stick that butt out behind you. It should look like this. And then sit back down. And let's do that again. And sit back down. And again, it shouldn't hurt your knees or your back. If it does, make an adjustment here. And up and back down. This last one, see if you can hold without the knees coming forward. Stick that butt out. It's like you're about to sit and someone move the chair for 3, 2, 1. Sit back down. Woo, sit back. Shake it out. Catch your breath. Notice how you feel. Always come back to your breath. Always, if you're not ready to move on, you can pause the video or just skip that next part. And then we're going to stand up. And we are going to come to the side of the chair. I'm going to hold on to the chair. I'm going to mirror you, okay? I'm going to hold on to the back of the chair with the right hand. And I'm going to bring my left foot up on the chair. Now, if you can't do this yet, you can bring your foot, if you have a bar, onto the bar of the chair. I have one student that did that for about a year, and then eventually she got up here. And now just make sure you can look down and see your toes. So we don't want to pronate that knee forward. It needs to be just over the ankle. And then you can just stand here, or you can lift up through this right arm to get a deeper stretch. And breathe. Eyes steady on a point. Breathe. Maybe you want to go deeper by folding halfway, elbow to your thigh. And some people like to bring both hands to the inside of the foot on the chair. Now just make sure you're not hurting your back or your knee. And breathe. Opening up that hip. And then we're going to come back up. Carefully. Release that foot. And just kind of a little gentle rebound, bounce, shaking it out. We'll go to the other side. So again, I'm mirroring you. So I'm going to hold on to the back of the chair with the left hand. And I'm going to bring that right foot up. I can see my toes. Eyes steady on a point. Maybe I lift that left arm up. And just breathe here. Maybe I fold about halfway to my thigh. Some might fold to the inside of the leg, hands on the seat. Be where you're at, be okay with it. Give your body time to open up and strengthen at its own pace. Don't force it. I'm not locking my standing knee, that's very important. If anything, put a little micro bend in it if you tend to be a knee locker. And we're going to slowly come up one step at a time. We're gonna come out carefully. So like 90% of yoga injuries happen coming out of a pose. So we wanna be just as mindful as we're coming out of our poses as when we're going in. So now we're gonna come to the back of our chair and we're gonna do a few hip strengtheners. So we're gonna stand facing the chair. I'm gonna bring the weight onto the left foot. Okay, this time I'm gonna do the same leg as you since I'm standing sideways. And I'm gonna make sure that left knee is not locked. You can put a little slight micro bend in it, and I'm gonna try not to lean over. So some of us might wanna grab onto a wall. That might be better, okay? Otherwise, I'm just gonna take this right leg and just bring it out, kind of lift it up and bring it out to the side, and then back in. And then do it again. Now you might wanna come way out here and swing it. We don't wanna do that. We're not gonna get as much of that front hip flexor. We wanna strengthen that hip. So just come out, try to keep your foot straight, toes towards the back of the chair. And just breathe. Make sure you're breathing, and we're just bringing it out. I'm not gonna count. We're just gonna do this a few times. And then release, shake it out, rebound. Whew, catch your breath. We're gonna get the other side now. So weight into the right foot. And I'm gonna put a little micro bend because I tend to be a knee blocker. And then I'm just gonna come out and back in just a few times. My foot is just straight. It's just straight as the standing foot. So all this action I'm really feeling in the hip region. I'm also getting some glute work on that standing leg, which is a hip stabilizer. And release and shake it out. So double whammy there. All right, now we're gonna do some hip circles. So take a moment here to kind of loosen up. My feet are a little wider than hip distance. My toes are slightly out. I'm soft in my knees. And then I'm just gonna hula hoop just the hips. Into circles back and forth. You can make those circles small. Maybe starting to make them a little bit bigger. This exercise tends to be a little bit easier for women because we naturally have more flexibility in the hips. But if not, it's probably more important for men. So, and women, we used to, probably most of us have done the hula hoop, so we kind of understand this motion. Where for some reason, a lot of men haven't done the hula hoop. Probably because it's harder for them, right? Let's shake it out. All right, good. Now, we're going to do a little more of those hip strengtheners, okay? And so we're gonna bring the weight onto that right foot, and we're going to point our toes in, and we're gonna bring it out and back in. So the toes are pointing in, so we're getting a different area of that hip. And rebound, shake it out. And let's get the other side. So bring your weight onto the right foot, turn your left toes in, and just come out and in, and not very far. Again, and we're not using momentum here. I want us to use this slow and controlled and use the hip to move this. If we just kind of swing it, we're not really getting that muscle worked. We are getting some flexibility, but not the strengthening. And shake it out. Rebound, release, catch your breath. All right, one more. This time we're gonna bring the toes out. And so each time we kind of switch the foot movement, the toes, we're getting a different area of the hip glute. And shake it out. Weight on the right foot, left toes out, and back in and out. This is kind of a ballerina type of exercise. At least it feels like it to me. I never did ballet. And shake it out. All right, now we're going to come into our warrior one, which is a great hip opener and strengthener. Bring the weight into the left foot. Your feet are on a railroad track. Slide the right leg back. Bring the heel in the earth. Turn your hips forward. If you can't, just make more space between your feet. Bring that sacrum down towards the heels, navel back towards the spine. Maybe you lift that right arm up and breathe. My left knee is not going past my toes. Warrior one. So we're opening this front right hip flexor. We're also strengthening that right glute as we press into the pinky toe side of that right foot. which is a hip stabilizer. Release, shake it out, shake it off. Bring those feet to about hip distance. Slide this left leg back, left heel in the earth. Bend that right knee, warrior one. Sacrum down towards the heels, navel back towards the spine, maybe the left arm lifts. Press into that back foot and breathe. Look at a spot, eyes steady. And just follow that breath in and out. Notice how your body's responding to the breath. Is it rising with the in-breath? Falling with the out-breath? Step it in and shake it out. All right. And we're going to come back to that seated position. Sit back, take a moment just to collect yourself, catch your breath. Slow that heart rate down. And then we're going to move to the edge of the chair. We're going to walk our feet so we can see our toes. And we're going to bring those hips out. And then we're going to bring the knees in. So hips out, knees in. You can kind of do that Charleston motion with your hands. Maybe if you're doing the Charleston motion with your hands and you have like the right hand on top, maybe the next time you put the left hand on top. So the knees are opening and closing. My feet are about hip distance. One more time. And shake it out. Take a moment, find your sits bones on your chair, sit up nice and tall. And now we're going to bring the feet together and we're going to open those legs up. The soles of my feet are coming together. I'm still very stable on my chair, on my sits bones. I'm going to sit up nice and tall for cobbler's pose and just take a few mindful breaths here. Inhaling, filling up like a balloon, and exhaling, emptying, deflating the balloon. And bring those legs back in. And now we're going to bring our legs wide with straight legs. This is called five-pointed star. You can keep your hands down here, or if you'd like to go into the full five-pointed star, thus the hands, 1 and 2, you can reach those hands up and out. And breathe. And then we're going to just keep your hands and legs where they are, but bend them. Bend your knees, bend your elbows. This is called horse pose. And breathe. And then we're going to come into warrior 2. So we're going to bring our arms out, palms up, straighten that left leg. I'm going to mirror you. Warrior 2. And then we're going to come into side ankle warrior. Bring your right elbow to the right thigh. And then just open your heart forward. You can bring the hand to the shoulder or over the ear. Side ankle warrior. We're going to come back into that horse pose. It's also called goddess pose. And then we're going to straighten the right leg. Bring those arms out. Warrior 2 on the other side. I can look over my left knee and see my toes, and I'm mirroring you. We're going to take that side ankle warrior. So just a side bend over to the left, elbow to your thigh. Opening up the side ribs on the right side, from the armpit down. And then coming back up into horse pose. Kiss the elbows and the palms together. Toe heel your feet in and shake it out. All right, so that was a whole, what we call sequence in yoga. And we're gonna flow through that a few times, okay? So are you ready? So this is gonna get your heart rate up. If it goes too fast, take a break, slow it down, skip a pose or two, no big deal. Since I'm gonna be walking you through it, talking you through it, but this is gonna help. This actually is really good for the brain because we're flowing through the same sequence 3 times, and we're getting lots of good exercise while we're doing it. So let's start with our feet hip distance, and let's do Charleston, 2, and 3. And then we are going to come into 5-pointed star. And then we're going to come into our horse pose. And then we're going to come into warrior 2, straightening that right leg. And then we're going to come into side angle warrior, just a side bend over to the left. Back up, bend that other knee. We're going to do that on the other side, so straighten that left leg, warrior 2. Side bend, side angle warrior to the right. Back up, come into that horse pose. Kiss the elbows and the hands. Open them up into goal pose. And heel toe it in. And let's repeat. Shake it out. And let's get the Charleston, reversing the cross of your wrist each time. We're gonna do it one more time so it'll be even. And then we're gonna come into that 5-pointed star. And then that horse pose. And then warrior 2, straightening out that right leg. And side bend over to the left. And back into warrior 2. And bend that other knee, bend that knee and straighten out that left leg, warrior 2. And side bend over to the right, side angle warrior. And coming back up with those goal post arms, both knees are bent, horse pose. Kiss the elbows and the hands. Bring the palms down to your heart and toe heel it in. Shake it out. So sometimes in our class we do this to music, so we kind of call this dance therapy. And so I'm not going to do that on the video because the sound's not really good. We're going to do this one more time. Just imagine the music playing. We have a lot of fun with this. And so we're going to start with the Charleston. Reverse the wrist cross each time if you can. Have fun with it. Have fun with it. And then we're going to come into 5-pointed star. And then we're going to come into horse pose. And then warrior 2 on one side. And horse pose. Warrior 2 on the other side. And horse pose. I forgot side angle warrior, guys. Come back into warrior 2. And side bend over to the left. And back up into the center. And let's take that warrior 2 on the other side. And side bend to the right. See, it's good for the brain. And back into the center. And kiss the elbows and the palms. Hands to heart. Toe heel it in and shake it out. So the good thing about these type of sequences is that when you mess up, it's actually working the brain muscle. Let's just call it the muscle. It's working the brain. So every time you mess up is actually a good thing because you're like, oh, wait a minute, okay, yeah, let me remember this next time. And it's building those new neural pathways, working with that neuroplasticity, and it is just great for the brain. All right, let's take a moment here to catch our breath. Sitting up nice and tall. Find your breath, let it come back down, heart rate down. Breath is in control and smooth. Filling up on the in-breath and emptying on the out-breath. All right, and we're gonna get our strap. And I am on the edge of the seat, but I'm nice and stable and firm. You can put some pillows behind you so that when you lean back, you can kind of press into the pillows as long as you're not hunching and your heart stays forward. We're gonna take that strap and place it on the right foot. I'm gonna mirror you again. And my strap or my belt is around the ball mound, not the arch. And I'm just gonna straighten that leg out. Just start to open up the hamstring. Maybe your leg's down here, that's okay. We just wanna open up the backs of the legs. And this is why if you have a pillow behind you, you kind of lean back with your heart forward. As long as your heart stays up, just stretching out that leg, any amount. There should be no pinching, no spinal dumping, no pain or discomfort in the back. So adjust, and if you need a little bend in the knee, that's okay, guys. And now we're gonna start to come into that pigeon pose. We're gonna bring the ankle on top of the knee. So the strap comes in handy. If you can't reach it there yet, just kind of hold it wherever you can in front of the shin or across at the ankles. We're just opening this right hip up. I'm gonna bring my toes in towards the shin. That's called flexing the foot to protect that knee. And sit up nice and tall and breathe. You don't have to hold that strap anymore unless you want to or need to. Let that breath come all the way into the hip. And then when you exhale that breath, feel that hip releasing. And now we're going to either cross the knees if you have good knees, or cross at the ankle, okay, either one. And we're gonna bring those arms nice and wide. We're gonna take eagle pose. And so we're gonna cross the left arm on top and grab opposite shoulders. Bring your shoulders down. And see if you can bring just the elbows up in line with the shoulders. And breathe. Release your hands. Sit up nice and tall. Bring your right hand kind of to the chair for support, like a kickstand. Reach up through this left hand and then exhale, just twist on over to the right. Don't hurt your neck or shoulders. They're just coming along for the ride. Come back into the center. Go ahead and release that strap and shake it out. I'm going to show you the other side with that variation of crossing at the ankle. All right, and this time we're going to bring the strap around the left foot, ball mount, and this is how it looks if your foot's down. That's perfectly fine. I'm just going to show you the different variation. I can still look over my right knee and see my right toes, though. That's important. Yoga is not about what you look like, what pose you're doing. It's about what you feel. It's about the sensation. If you're not feeling it there, then you might need to lift it up, okay? Our heart's forward. Then we're gonna come into that pigeon pose. Either place that ankle on top, toes in towards your shin, flexing, or I'm gonna show you the variation of just coming up the shin as high as you can and kind of holding it there. Opening that hip. You could even come at the ankle. Always sitting up tall and breathing. Navel towards your spine, that's going to protect your spine, keep it from dumping into the spine. And always breathing, big full breaths. And now we're going to go into that eagle pose. So again, you can cross at the knees if your knees are healthy. You can go ahead and get rid of that strap. Or we can just cross at the ankles, kind of opening up. So my left ankle's in front, I'm opening up those hips, bringing my arms nice and wide. I'm gonna cross the right arm on top this time, grabbing opposite shoulders. Bring the shoulders down, away from the ears. Try to leave them there and just lift up the elbows if you can. And breathe. Again, there should be no pain here. So adjust as you need to. Bring that navel towards the spine and breathe smoothly and freely. This time I'm breathing into the shoulder area, the shoulder blades, along the upper back. gonna sit up nice and tall, bring this left hand like a kickstand. Inhale, reaching up through that right hand. And exhale, just a little twist over to the left. And I'm twisting with the torso. Neck and shoulders are just coming along for the ride. I'm not twisting with the neck or shoulders. And breathe. Try not to hold your breath. It's not going to go as deep, but try to keep breathing. Consciously. And slowly unwind. And let's shake it all out. All right, we're going to start to sit back, coming into our Shavasana, which is just our final resting pose. And since some of you might have a pillow, I'm going to show you an alternative Shavasana. One thing is that you can simply get out of your hard chair and move on to a recliner or anything where your feet are up. That's going to give your heart a nice break, and it's very restorative. So I always like to put my feet up if I can. You can even just kind of bring something over to your chair, and we're just going to kind of relax. But I do want to show you an option if you're able to get down onto the floor. And if you're not, no big deal. This is just an option. I'm going to face the seat towards me. And I'm going to bring the pillow back there for my neck. And I'm just going to shimmy my hips kind of close to the chair. And then I'm going to bring my feet up to the chair. So I want to have the backs of my knees resting on the back of the seat. Put a little pillow or blanket just under that neck curve. Let your knees come open, arms come wide. And let's all let out a cleansing breath, no matter what position we're in. Take a nice deep in through the mouth, in nose. Let's let it cascade out of the mouth. Let's do that 2 more times, maybe letting a sound out. One more time. And just stay here. Whatever position you're in, notice your breath. Let's find our breath wave. I'll walk you through that. So when you inhale, your breath comes into the chest, into the belly. And when you exhale, the breath comes out of the belly and out of the chest. Inhale, the heart lifts, the belly fills up. And exhale, the belly empties, the chest empties. Inhale, the heart opens, the belly fills. And exhale, the belly empties, the heart contracts. And just follow this breath wave for a few more rounds. And you could just stay in this position as long as you want. When you're ready, and you don't have to come out yet, slowly start to wake up the body by wiggling fingers and toes, moving wrists and ankles, and then either moving to the edge of your seat, sitting up tall, or I'm going to roll onto my side if I'm on the floor. Just take a moment here. And I'm going to use my hands and my arms just to come up. Maybe sitting cross-legged or sitting tall on the edge of your chair. Pause, notice how you feel here. Really notice. Then inhale the arms overhead, bringing the palms together down the center line of the body. Thank you for practicing with me today. Namaste. Have a wonderful, blessed day. I'd love to have you in my class when we start meeting back at Senior Action. If not, just keep following along with these videos. I promise you'll see results.